Well, Fishtrap was my life for 20 plus years. Kim Stafford, our most recent poet laureate, and Peter Sears had a Northwest Writers Gathering. And I piped up and said, well, you call this a Northwest Writers Gathering, but it's really an I-5 Writers Gathering. And so Kim said, you're right, let's move it to the Wallowa.
Rich Weinsteiner started it in 1988. We've gone through 35 years, and we've had incredible authors, speakers, thinkers.
Ursula Le Guin actually helped make Fishtrap by coming that first year.
I remember Ursula Le Guin was just in the audience, but I was sitting behind her, and she was interacting with some little child, and she was making a little grass mustache. And so it was just this, moment of her being herself.
What Alvin and Sun Valley really contributed was the idea that a writers' conference didn't have to just be writers. Mark Jaffe, who came to the first one as a publisher, and I remember what he said is that Fishtrap isn't a place you go to get published. Fishtrap is a revival meeting for writers. You come to get replenished and revived.
The dream of all of us, well, for me, was I was a ranch wife who journaled. I didn't have the opportunity to go to college. So when I helped form the first Fishtrap, that was my college. I'm still learning from the College of Fishtrap. It became like a family reunion. I mean, the ones that went to the first one came back for the second, the third, and then we started growing. The thing that kept us going and still does is quality instructors, beautiful setting. Our vision was writing in the West, and it was only 3 days. It was a gathering. Creative people have to be with creative people. They feed off of each other, and this was a place you could do that.
As someone who was there when it began, and before it began, when it was just an idea, Fishtrap is like a story that will keep telling itself long after those who made it are gone. As a writer, a reader, an Earth citizen, Fishtrap has given me a sustaining community of people who care about truth, connection, land, and honor.
Fishtrap gives not just the Wallowa County community, but our larger community a place for people to come together and to listen to each other's stories.
I think Fishtrap was founded on the idea of relationships, of building relationships with others and creating spaces for people to thrive in.
This is just a reminder, just in case you forgot, which I didn't think you did, but it's worth repeating, a loving and supportive place, and it takes a lot of work to find your own honest, authentic voice, so that's what we're honoring here. That's what we're honoring. Yeah, you can snap!
In the Fishtrap community, I've really felt a lot of love.
I've gone to the youth workshop for many years, so I'd have to say that Fishtrap is where I met some of my closest friends.
I think when you are using words intentionally with regards to writing or a spoken word, it requires you to think more about what you are trying to say and reevaluate what you believe in, what messages you want to put out in the world.
Fishtrap is about clear thinking and good writing in and about the West.
We do that by creating space for those conversations with our events. Things like Winter Fishtrap and the Big Read that actually are about creating those opportunities for people to come together and have those conversations. But also our youth workshops and our youth programming, which is, yes, getting kids to write, but also about getting them to listen to each other's stories and create a sense of empathy and understanding.
My home is nestled in the wild landscape of Wallowa County. I've seen a lot of changes here in the ancestral homeland of the Nimi Poop or Nez Perce people.
Outreach to Nez Perce Voices and other inland Northwest Indigenous communities to make sure that we're recognizing that we are the visitors in their space and that they have stories we need to hear, but they're their stories to tell us, and it's our job to welcome them home.
Fishtrap allows you to interact one-on-one and become best friends with your heroes.
First word that comes to mind is community and a sense of place.
The space that we've created for people to be vulnerable in an empowering way through literature and creativity.
The mission statement is held up. We ask big questions. We invite people to tell their stories.
The word that epitomizes Fishtrap for me is service to community. I I really think that Fishtrap has the ability to impact the local community and a larger community of writers with their unique programming.
I think it's our job to create a brave space for writers, and anybody who wants to come to Fishtrap has a space here. Anybody who wants to contribute and wants to create has a space here.
Come closer. Come into this. Come closer. You are quite the beauty. If no one has ever told you that before, know that right now. You are quite the beauty. There is joy in how your mouths dance with your teeth. Your smiles are simply signs of how sacred your life actually is, so step into it. Come closer.
I didn't consider myself a writer, but my passion was writing. And from the first Fishtrap, I went, oh, my people. The Snake River float trip, here I was with writers, with Craig Childs. And the rapids, you know, to be alive at 88 and go into the rapids and come out, and I just got hooked.
One thing I love is the total beautiful supportiveness. Everyone loves everyone else at Fishtrap. You want to hear the work at every single reading.
The people are what keep people coming back, but the place is haven.
That sense of community and easygoing comfort and of writing together in a small group is how I teach now.
It is so vital to have literary nonprofits around.
We gave away 700 copies of Grapes of Wrath in Wallowa County.
Our county only has 7,000 people, and for Fishtrap to be a part of that and have the culture that Fishtrap brings.
People would come up to me in Safeway and say, God, I read that when I was in high school. I just reread it. The greatest thing I've ever done.
Knowing that we are promoting that love of literature.
It's our job to think about how we can work together to make sure that this organization continues into the future, because I think the work we do has never been more important than it is now.
Fishtrap is a place where people can come together from all walks of life. Guards are let down, people are authentic in who they are and in their interactions.
I think people want to be in a community of fellow writers and readers who care about truth and language, about making stories that are kind, wise, and sustaining. That's what we need, and Fishtrap is where we find it.